I returned her lost suitcase at the hotel, then she whispered, "He found my room." The rhythmic hum of the 14th floor air conditioning was the only sound in the hallway when I found Elena Parker gripping her doorframe like the room behind her might disappear if she let go. I stood 3 feet from the threshold with one hand on the telescoping handle of a black polycarbonate suitcase. The carpet beneath us was a thick swirl of brown and beige, chosen by people who believed silence could be designed, but the broken luggage tag hanging from the handle ruined the illusion. Someone had ripped half the plastic sleeve away, leaving the white barcode exposed like a torn label on evidence. The tag should have shown her name, her suite number, and a clean internal routing sticker. Instead, it showed a jagged edge, a smudge of loading dock grease, and a new destination printed in black ink. Chicago. Not the hotel, not the 14th floor, not Elena. She wore a cream blazer over a high-neck blouse and tailored black trousers, the kind of understated uniform a high-profile architectural consultant could wear from a boardroom to a late-night design review. Her dark hair was loose around her shoulders. A single pearl rested at her throat. Everything about her looked composed until you reached her hands. Her knuckles were white against the doorframe. "Ms. Parker," I said, keeping my voice low enough for a private corridor. "I believe this belongs to you." Her eyes went to the suitcase, not with relief, with recognition, then fear. "Where did you find it?" "Loading dock," I said. "The courier instructions were altered in our system. Someone tried to reroute it to a residential address in Chicago. I intercepted it before the outbound truck left." Her fingers loosened from the doorframe by 1 inch. Chicago was Marcus. That name arrived like a draft under a locked door. Marcus Vance, according to the privacy request attached to her reservation, was the ex-fiancé she had specifically warned the hotel not to acknowledge. He had money, attorneys, and just enough access to her old travel habits to make ordinary systems dangerous. The note in her guest profile had been polite. The ripped luggage tag was not. I did not step closer. You do not force a heavy door, you wait for the pressure to equalize. I released the suitcase handle and moved 1 measured step backward, giving the bag, the hallway, and the decision back to her. "Do you want me to initiate a privacy lock on your stay?" I asked. "Floor access, room charges, luggage routing, conference credentials, and internal screen visibility. You can approve or decline each piece." Her eyes lifted from the suitcase to my face. Most guests wanted reassurance. Elena looked for the catch. "Why would you do that?" "Because I am the director of operations at this hotel." I said, "Inside these doors, a guest's room number, movement, and belongings are not public information. If someone is using our systems to reach you, then our systems are my responsibility." The air conditioning vent above us hummed steadily. Elena looked down the empty corridor, then back into her suite. Her room was softly lit, the desk covered with rolled blueprints and a laptop showing the skeleton of a glass atrium. The woman had been working when fear found her. "What would the lock do?" she asked. "Your name disappears from front desk search for all staff below manager level. Your room service routes through my office. Your floor access requires your card and a secondary elevator authorization. Your luggage gets handled by 2 named employees only. Any attempted booking near your room gets flagged before confirmation. And if Marcus walks in, he meets the lobby, the security desk, and a polite refusal in that order." A corner of her mouth moved, too tired to become a smile. "He hates polite refusal. Most men like that do." Her shoulders lowered slightly. "Yes," she said, "initiate it." I nodded once. "I will have David from the front desk call your room in 5 minutes with a verification phrase. You choose the phrase. If anyone calls without it, you hang up and dial my office directly." She reached for the suitcase handle, then paused. The bag was close enough for her to take. Still, she hesitated. "Do you want me to roll it inside?" I asked. "Or would you rather do it yourself?" That question seemed to matter more than the suitcase. "I'll do it." I stepped back another foot. She pulled the bag across the threshold, the wheels clicking softly over the metal strip. Before the door closed, she looked at me again. "You caught the discrepancy in the ledger yourself?" "Yes." Why were you checking luggage transfers at this hour? Because the 14th floor intake manifest had one extra outbound item with no matching checkout. Hotels hide problems in mismatched numbers. The door stayed open. Is that your job? She asked. My job is making sure the things guests never notice keep working. The vent hummed again. For a second, the hallway felt less like isolation and more like a held breath. Then Elena nodded. I'll choose the phrase. What is it? She looked down at the broken tag, then back at me. Pressure equalized. Good phrase. I walked away before either of us could mistake protection for familiarity. By midnight, the hotel changed around her without appearing to change at all. The Grand Meridian was built on discretion. It had marble floors, a fireplace large enough to warm a ballroom, and elevators that smelled faintly of polished brass and lemon oil. But a luxury hotel is not made of velvet ropes and scented candles. It is made of access levels, shipping ledgers, emergency stairwells, locked service doors, and employees who know when to forget a face. I reprogrammed the 14th floor elevator bank so only Elena's room key and my master operations card could unlock it after 8 in the evening. I stripped her name from standard arrivals and replaced it with a privacy tier code visible only to me. David at the front desk, and Olivia Shaw, our in-house counsel. I moved her room service to a handwritten ticket system routed through the executive kitchen because ordinary digital tickets travel through too many screens. At 12:17, David called her room with the verification phrase. At 12:19, she approved the floor lock. At 12:22, the junior valet, who had asked why a corporate consultant needed celebrity treatment, was reassigned to the third-floor pantry for the rest of the week. I did not punish curiosity. I contained risk. That was the part of hospitality nobody put in brochures. The next morning, I found Elena in the lobby before the city had fully woken. She sat in the alcove near the fireplace, a place I had asked David to keep open because it gave clear sight lines to the revolving doors, the elevator bank, and the east corridor. She had a cup of black coffee beside her and a stack of conference documents on her lap. Her pen moved across the top page with fast, exact strokes. She was not hiding. She was working under pressure. That mattered. I stopped at the edge of the alcove rather than stepping into it. Good morning, Ms. Parker. She looked up. Elena. I corrected myself. Elena. The name felt different out loud, less like a reservation profile and more like a person I had been trying very hard not to worry about. Did the lock hold overnight, she asked. No access attempts after midnight. One-room service call at 6:12, confirmed with the phrase before routing. Your chef makes strong coffee. He believes weak coffee is a character flaw. That earned a small laugh. A real one. It lasted half a second, but I heard it under the crackle of the fireplace. Then her phone buzzed. The laugh vanished. She turned the screen toward me without handing it over. A message from an unknown number showed a screenshot of a booking confirmation. Grand Meridian, Suite 1409. Across from Elena Parker. Arrival tonight. Below it, Marcus had written, "We need to settle this like adults before your conference becomes inconvenient." The fireplace snapped once. Elena's fingers tightened around the phone until the case creaked. That room is across from mine, she said. It was... She looked up. What do you mean? The reservation was attempted through a proxy LLC at 6:03 this morning. David caught the billing phone number because it matched the one you flagged. We voided the hold before the transaction cleared. Suite 1409 is now marked unavailable due to a plumbing inspection that does not need to happen. She stared at me. The anger and relief moved across her face together, too fast to separate. You already knew? I was waiting to confirm the source before telling you. I did not want to hand you fear without a solution. I wish people stopped deciding what I should know. The sentence landed clean. I had earned that. I set both hands loosely at my sides. You are right. I said, I should have called you when the attempt happened. I was trying to reduce stress. That does not give me the right to filter information. Her eyes searched mine. Maybe for defensiveness. Maybe for the usual explanation men give when they want control to sound like concern. I gave her none. I want to show you the system, I said, not because you have to trust me, because you should be able to verify what we are doing. The security office is behind the front desk. Glass door, camera inside and out, David at the desk within sight. You can leave any time. Her thumb hovered over Marcus's message. Then she stood. Show me. The security office was not impressive. Guests imagined banks of glowing screens and dramatic red alarms. In reality, it was a cool room with 2 desks, 8 monitors, a coffee machine that hated everyone, and a printer that made a grinding sound like a tired animal. Elena stepped inside and looked at the wall of camera feeds. Lobby. Valet. Loading dock. Elevators. East corridor. 14th floor hallway. I pulled the guest manifest onto the main monitor and stepped away from the keyboard. You type, I said. Any name, company, email, phone number, alias, or LL. C. Marcus uses, I will not watch your private notes. You say it, I enter only what you approve. She sat in my chair. For the first time since I had met her, her hands moved with purpose instead of fear. Marcus Vance. 0 active results. Vance Holdings. Blocked. MV Property Group. Flagged. Lakefront Settlement LLC. Flagged. Then she paused. Try Ashford Civic Design. I entered it. The system loaded 1 pending conference credential request. Her face went pale. That is not his company, she said. That is an old client of mine. It was submitted for tomorrow's architectural conference. I said, the attached email domain is new, registered last week. He knows my client list. That gives him a credential path. I opened the record, exported the timestamp, and printed the pending request before deleting nothing. Evidence mattered. A clean process mattered more. Elena watched every step. You did not erase it, she said. No. If we delete without preserving, we make his denial easier. We quarantine the credential, preserve the log, and notify conference security. She looked at the printer as it coughed out the paper. What else can he use? Property settlement documents? Legal service attempts? Guest embarrassment? Public confrontation? Digital access? Staff manipulation? The list was blunt. Her mouth tightened. Thank you for not softening it. Soft words do not make hard problems smaller. She wrote that down on the corner of the printout. I pretended not to notice. For the next hour, we built the restricted profile together. She listed aliases. I added fields. David confirmed a matching declined hold, and Olivia Shaw instructed us to preserve chain of custody for every log and timestamp. That was the first collaborative task between us. Not romantic, not dramatic. Better. By the time we finished, Elena had a printed incident packet in a blue folder, a secure copy on an encrypted drive, and the first look of control I had seen on her face. The coffee machine chose that moment to spit hot water across the counter instead of into the mug. I shut it off with one hard tap. Elena looked at the machine, then at me. Does the 5-star rating include the angry coffee appliance? That machine has been trying to resign since April. Have you accepted? It has no successor. She smiled. The room changed by 1 degree. Then her phone buzzed again. This time, she did not flinch. She looked at the screen, took 1 breath, and slid it across the desk for me to read. You can hide behind hotel staff today. Tomorrow the conference sees what you really are. Attached was a photograph of an old legal envelope. Her property settlement file. He is going to serve me during my keynote, she said. Do you want hotel security to handle the perimeter? I asked. Or do you want your firm's private security to take primary? She looked at the monitors. Then at the blue folder. I want you to handle the perimeter. I want my firm's security briefed, but not leading. Marcus knows them. He does not know you. Understood. She stood, gathering the folder. At the door, she stopped. Nathan. Yes? If he comes tomorrow, do not protect me by hiding me. I nodded. What do you want instead? Her hand tightened around the blue folder. A room where I can keep standing. The grand ballroom filled by 9 the next morning. Architects, engineers, city officials, and donors moved beneath chandeliers while hotel staff made the chaos look effortless. I stood at the east foyer in a dark suit, earpiece in tablet ready. Elena was on stage inside, delivering the keynote for Parker Hayes Design. Her voice carried through the closed doors, steady and warm. She did not sound like a woman being hunted through travel systems. She sounded like a woman refusing to surrender the microphone. David's voice crackled in my ear. Blacktown car at valet. Passenger declined to give his name. Matches restricted image. Route him to the east corridor. I said, already doing it. Conference security? Positioned at ballroom doors. Police liaison? On standby, not visible. Good. I waited beside the east corridor with my shoulders relaxed. That was important. A hotel guest can smell panic faster than smoke. Marcus Vance came around the corner wearing a charcoal suit and the expression of a man who expected doors to apologize before opening. He held a thick envelope in one hand. His eyes moved to my earpiece, my tablet, then the closed ballroom doors. Move, he said. Good morning, Mr. Vance. He stopped. I do not know you. No, I said. But I know you attempted a reservation across from a privacy tier guest yesterday through Lakefront Settlement LLC. I know you submitted a false conference credential through Ashford Civic Design. I know you altered courier routing for a guest's suitcase. This is private property, and you are not authorized to enter the conference. His mouth tightened. I have legal documents to serve. You may coordinate with Ms. Parker's attorney off property. You may not enter a private event, interfere with a keynote, or approach a restricted guest inside this hotel. He lifted the envelope slightly. You think a hotel policy beats a court document? No, I said. I think trespass law beats a hallway performance. A conference attendee turned the corner, saw us, and slowed. I shifted half a step, not to block Marcus from me, but to block the attendee from the scene. Marcus noticed. He smiled. You are very protective of your lobby. I am very protective of clean exits. He leaned closer. Everyone has a price. Mine is written into my employment contract and still does not include letting you through that door. His eyes hardened. You have no idea what she did. I do not need to evaluate your relationship history to enforce access control. The ballroom doors opened for a staff member carrying a water pitcher. Elena's voice floated through the gap. Buildings fail when pressure is hidden instead of released. The line hit the corridor like an answer. Marcus took one step toward the door. I raised my hand, palm out, not touching him. Clear enough. If you take another step, city police will trespass you from the property. The report will include the prior reservation attempt, the false credential request, and the altered luggage routing. It will be loud, it will be public, it will be preserved. He stared at me for 10 long seconds. Then he looked past me, toward the sound of Elena's voice. She will run out of places to hide. No, I said, you will run out of systems to abuse. David appeared at the far end of the corridor with 2 uniformed security officers. Marcus calculated the optics and chose retreat. He turned, walked back toward the lobby, and disappeared through the revolving doors. I did not move until valet confirmed his car had left the drive. Then I looked through the narrow glass panel in the ballroom door. Elena stood at the podium under warm stage light, one hand resting on the lectern, the other turning to the next slide. She had not stopped speaking. That was the win. Not that I had blocked him, that she had kept going. After the keynote, the hotel moved into reception mode. Glasses chimed, the fireplace burned low, the ballroom doors stayed open. Guests praised Elena's presentation, asked about zoning models, and pretended they had never seen the brief disturbance in the east corridor. I retreated to my office to finish the incident report. At 8:15, someone knocked. Elena stood outside with the blue folder in one hand and 2 paper bowls balanced awkwardly in the other. I brought soup, she said. I blinked. Soup? The executive chef said you missed lunch, dinner, and what he called a morally necessary snack. I need to talk to the chef about boundaries. He said directors who skip meals for 12 hours lose the right to complain. I took 1 bowl before she dropped it. Tomato soup, warm bread tucked into a paper sleeve. Very simple. Very dangerous. in the way small kindness can be dangerous when you have spent years being useful instead of known. Thank you, I said. We ate at opposite sides of my desk. The monitors glowed behind us. The air conditioning hummed overhead. For the first time, the sound did not feel entirely cold. Elena opened the blue folder. I have logs from my firm, she said. Marcus violated the temporary order in Chicago last month, but my lawyers said it was not enough by itself. With the hotel incident report, the false credential, and the courier reroute, we can file for a permanent injunction. She slid a silver USB drive across the desk. The motion stopped before our hands met. I appreciated that. You kept the data clean? Exported by our IT director, time-stamped, hash value included. I am learning from you. You already knew how to build structures that hold. Digital structures are less pretty, only if you use the wrong font. She laughed into the soup, then covered her mouth with the napkin like the sound had surprised her. The printer made its tired animal noise in the corner. I attached the hotel report to Olivia's secure link, added the badge logs, the reservation audit, the courier records, the hallway footage reference, and the East Corridor trespass notice, Olivia replied 17 minutes later. Clean enough to support the injunction filing. Stronger because Ms. Parker preserved her own firm logs. Excellent chain of custody. I turned the monitor toward Elena. She read the message twice. Then she sat back. Her shoulders lowered. Not all the way? Enough. You did that, I said. We did that? The correction was soft. It also mattered. At midnight, I walked her to the private elevator bank. Not because she could not walk alone, because the protocol still required a manager escort after the false credential attempt. At the elevator doors, she turned. Do you always sleep in your office during conferences? No. But you did last night. I had reports to review. That is not an answer. No, I said. It is a professionally acceptable deflection. Her smile came and went. The elevator chimed. She stepped inside, then put one hand against the open door to keep it from closing. Always the director of operations, she said. Never just Nathan. The doors stayed open between us. A heavy door. Pressure on both sides. I could have stepped in. I could have turned the sentence into something neither of us was ready to carry. But she was still inside a live threat. I was still managing her hotel safety. That was not the moment to ask for more. So I stayed in the hallway. Good night, Elena. Her eyes held mine for 1 second longer. Then she let the elevator close. I went back to my office and did not sleep. By morning, Marcus changed tactics. At 9:06, a lifestyle blogger tagged the hotel in a post, hinting that a known Chicago consultant had caused a security incident during a private architectural conference. The post did not name Elena, but it carried enough details for industry gossip to finish the work. Olivia called my office 9 minutes later. Coordinated harassment, she said, hotel reputation, guest safety, conference integrity. I can identify the source. I pulled the lobby bar footage from the previous evening. A man in a gray jacket had photographed the East Corridor just after Marcus arrived, then left through the side entrance on a prepaid rideshare. Elena came in while I was exporting the clip. No blue folder this time, no trembling phone, just her laptop under one arm and the calm, bright look of a glass wall before impact. I want to show my board exactly what happened before Marcus defines it, she said. I pointed to the screen. Do you want me to write the statement for you or provide the hotel records so you can submit it yourself? Provide the records, she said. I will submit. We built the packet together. Reservation attempt, courier reroute, false credential, trespass intercept, social media leak, firm security log, and injunction filing. David brought tea. Olivia reviewed the language. Elena wrote the executive summary herself, then changed private matter to documented safety matter. That is stronger, I said. I know. By noon, her board preserved her presentation schedule. By 1, the blogger removed the post. By 2, Olivia confirmed the emergency injunction filing had been accepted. The hearing happened the next morning by video. Elena joined from Olivia's conference room, not her suite. I stood outside the glass wall with David, available only if the hotel records needed clarification. Olivia presented the chain of custody. Elena delivered the line that ended the argument. Your Honor, I am not asking the court to punish a failed relationship. I am asking the court to stop a pattern of tracking, coercive contact, and professional interference. There is no reason left for Mr. Vance to contact me except control. The judge granted the order pending final review. Marcus could not contact her, approach her workplace or lodging, use third-party services to locate her, or interfere with her professional events. When the call ended, Elena thanked David for catching the LLC, then she turned to me. Thank you for asking before taking over. The hallway vent hummed above us. You made the decisions, I said. You made the room safe enough to make them. She checked out 2 days later. I arranged the private car, verified the driver, sealed her luggage, and watched from beside the fireplace as the bell captain loaded the bags. The black suitcase stood beside her, the broken tag replaced with a clean privacy seal. Elena signed the checkout folio. Then she looked at the fireplace, the revolving doors, the ceiling cameras, the lobby that had almost become a battlefield and instead became a witness. I am moving into the downtown lease this afternoon, she said. That is good. It is? Her car waited outside. I held myself still. The job was done. The threat had process around it. The injunction existed. Her firm had supported her. Marcus had been contained. A protector does not turn relief into a personal opening. Elena picked up her handbag. I'm going to ask you something, she said, and you may say no. The line was so carefully worded that I knew she had learned something from me too. All right. 6 weeks from now, the regional project closes its first phase. I will no longer be staying here. You will no longer be managing my safety. If I call you then and ask you to have coffee somewhere that does not require a key card, would that cross a line? I looked at the fireplace, at the doors, at David pretending very hard not to listen from the front desk. No, I said, 6 weeks from now, it would not. Her smile did not arrive quickly. It came slowly, like a building light switching on floor by floor. Good, she said. Then she left. 6 weeks is a short time when you are busy and a long time when you are trying not to count. The hotel returned to its usual choreography. David was promoted after Olivia told ownership that his flagged LLC record had prevented a serious guest safety breach. The angry coffee machine finally died and was replaced by a sleeker model that looked too innocent to trust. I did not contact Elena. She did not contact me. The boundary held. On the 43rd day, my phone rang at 6:10 p.m. Unknown number. I answered in my office, with the new coffee machine making suspiciously quiet sounds behind me. Nathan Reed. Pressure equalized, Elena said. The phrase moved through the room and changed it. I sat back. Hello, Elena. There's a cafe on Westlake with terrible parking and excellent coffee. That is an unfair combination. I thought you liked operational challenges, only with proper signage. I can meet you there at 7. I looked at the office wall, where the 14th floor camera feed still occupied one small monitor because I had never moved it back to the default view. Empty hallway, quiet carpet, vents humming invisibly. I will be there, I said. The cafe had terrible parking. It also had excellent coffee. Elena was already at a corner table when I arrived, a paper cup between her hands and a set of rolled drawings beside her chair. She wore a navy coat over a simple blouse, her hair tied back with a pencil she removed only after realizing she had used it as a clip. A pointlessly specific detail. A perfect one. No hotel cameras, she said when I sat. No key cards. No privacy phrase. No blue folder? Do you miss the blue folder? I respect the blue folder. I do not miss it. The conversation should have been awkward. It was not. We talked about the project, then the city, then the way hotel carpets are designed to erase footsteps, which she called architectural gaslighting. I told her the new coffee machine at work was too quiet and therefore morally suspicious. She argued that silence in appliances was a virtue. We disagreed for 7 minutes with unnecessary seriousness. When the cafe closed, we stood outside under a street lamp while traffic moved along Westlake in wet gold lines. Elena looked at me. I need to say something before this becomes easier. Go ahead. The first night, when you brought the suitcase, I did not trust you. You should not have. I know, that is what made me trust you later. The city bus hissed at the curb. She tucked her hands into her coat pockets. You kept leaving space for me to choose. I did not answer quickly. A heavy door. Pressure on both sides. This time, nothing was forcing it. I had to learn that too. I said, my job rewards control. Life does not. She nodded. Then she smiled. Would you like to walk with me? Yes. We walked 6 blocks with no destination except more time. 9 months later, the rhythmic hum of the 14th floor air conditioning still sounded through the corridor at the Grand Meridian, but it no longer meant isolation to me. It meant a door waiting to open. I walked down the same hallway carrying 2 coffees and a paper bag from the bakery Elena liked because the croissants were structurally honest. The carpet still swallowed my footsteps. The amber light still made the corridor feel removed from the rest of the city. Suite 141. Oh, still sat near the end of the hall, no longer a crisis room, no longer a fortress, just a place we booked on quiet weekends when her project deadlines and my hotel schedule finally surrendered at the same time. Elena opened the door before I knocked. She wore an oversized gray sweater and black trousers, her hair pinned messily with a pencil again. Behind her, the suite desk was covered with drawings for a community arts center. A brass key lay beside the blueprints. Not a hotel key card. A real key. Her downtown apartment key? She saw me notice it. I had a duplicate made, she said. I held out the coffee. For emergency croissant access? For mornings when you do not have to leave before the building wakes up, she said. And evenings when you want somewhere quiet that does not belong to a corporation. The air conditioning hummed overhead. I remembered the first night, the ripped tag, her white knuckles, the suitcase between us, the threshold I'd refused to cross without permission. Now she stepped back and opened the door wider. Not because she needed protection, because she wanted me inside her life. I took the key. The metal was warm from her hand. You are sure? I asked. Elena looked at the hallway, then at me. You do not force a heavy door, she said. You wait for the pressure to equalize. The phrase came back with new meaning. I stepped across the threshold. Inside, the suite smelled like coffee, paper, warm bread, and the faint lemon polish the hotel used on brass. Elena took 1 cup from my hand and set the bakery bag on the desk, moving a corner of the blueprint so no butter would touch the plans. Practical before romantic. Always. The door closed behind us with a soft click. Not a lock against the world. A choice made from inside. The end.